Welcome to the training module for Core Requirement 5, Tracking Throughput, Intent and Expected Outcomes. Core Requirement 5 is for identifying, tracking, and managing the flow of all electronic equipment, components, and materials controlled by an R2 facility. The general principle of Core Requirement 5 is to track and manage the throughput of all electronic equipment, components, and materials, and maintain sufficient records to document the flow of all electronic equipment, components, and materials. Tracking the movement of electronics throughout the entire reuse recycling chain is a foundational element of the R2 standard. It ensures that electronics are responsibly managed in accordance with R2 requirements and not diverted to unverified downstream vendors who may improperly process or even illegally dispose of equipment and materials. Core 5 requirements focus on tracking at the facility level, from the supplier to the first-tier downstream vendor. Requirements for tracking beyond first-tier downstream vendors are included in Appendix A, Downstream Recycling Chain. The tracking throughput requirements in Core Requirement 5 cover three primary areas of an R2 facility's operations: inbound requirements for everything that a facility receives, inventory requirements for managing all items while in the facility's possession or control, and outbound requirements for tracking everything that leaves a facility's control. And here's a reminder that tracking in Core Requirement 5 is only to the next tier downstream vendor or next recipient. To accurately track throughput, an R2 facility must maintain a variety of detailed shipping, inventory, and sales records that detail the types and quantities of all materials received. Also, where they came from, the resulting quantities and material streams after any processing, and where the materials go after leaving the facility. Another important aspect of Core 5 is tracking inventory levels to ensure that materials are not stored for longer than what is permitted by law or R2v3 requirements, or in quantities that exceed legal limits or the facility's closure plan. Effective tracking of throughput is more than just collecting records. It is ensuring that the information on the records is complete, accurate, and able to demonstrate the flow of material streams under the facility's control. Quality records are essential for transparency and traceability of throughput. This is important not only for an R2 audit, but customers and suppliers sometimes want to see this information as well. They often need assurance of the secure, responsible management of all electronic material they entrust to an R2 certified company. On the other hand, doubt sets in when a facility has incomplete or missing records and cannot clearly demonstrate what was received, when it was received, who it came from, how it was secured and managed, and where it goes. Inventory, shipping, receiving, and other transfer records can answer these questions, but only when accurate and properly completed. Depending on the type of facility and material stream, tracking details may be slightly different. For instance, collection and materials recovery facilities often receive mixed loads of different types of electronics that need to be sorted and processed. This incoming material is usually measured by weight. On the other hand, an ITAD facility or a repair refurbishment facility will need to track equipment more specifically by type, model, and number of units. These differences require different handling procedures by the R2 facility, and many facilities will need to account for both recyclable and reusable material streams. The key is accurate accounting, regardless of how various streams of materials are measured and tracked. The bottom line for tracking throughput is simple. R2 facilities must maintain thorough tracking processes with sufficient detail and accuracy to establish basic traceability of all equipment, components, and materials managed while under the facility's control. This provides assurance to auditors and customers that all items are being processed in a timely manner and, when necessary, moved to the next approved step in the downstream chain. For more information about the R2v3 standard, visit the R2 Knowledge Base and the On-Demand Training Library on the R2v3 page of the SERI website.